Ever been in a fast-paced meeting, maybe a virtual one, or, one of those glass-walled offices? You're right there in the thick of it. And this brilliant, maybe game-changing idea sparks in your mind. It's perfectly formed, insightful, but it's in your native language.
Right. Happens all the time.
And then that familiar mental gymnastics thing just kicks in. You grab the thought, mentally scan for the right English words, start structuring the sentence.
Double-checking grammar, maybe a preposition.
Exactly. And by the time you've polished that perfect English sentence, ready to jump in, the conversation is just sprinted ahead.
The moment's gone.
Yeah, the moment's gone.
Yeah.
Your brilliant idea becomes a casualty of what we're calling the translation tax.
That experience, that precise feeling of missing your window, well, it's often the final and frankly most frustrating barrier for many C1 English learners. You have the knowledge, you've got the vocabulary, everything you need, really, to communicate effectively. But you're still paying this hidden cognitive price. You're mentally translating.
So the thing that helped you learn is now holding you back.
Exactly. It's like what once served as a helpful scaffold has now become a cage, almost like a straitjacket. That safety net, it's actually limiting your agility, your speed.
That makes so much sense. And we're not talking about like clunky word-for-word translation here, are we? Not at C1 level.
No, absolutely not. At this level, it's far more subtle. It's a high-speed conversion of complex thoughts, grammatical structures, even, cultural idioms.
An invisible barrier almost.
It is. It's the invisible barrier between just being proficient and achieving true fluency. It's the difference, really, between just speaking English and truly living in it, feeling completely at home.
Okay. Living in it. I like that.
And that's precisely our mission with this deep dive. We want to guide you through breaking that barrier.
But not just by saying stop translating right, because that doesn't really help.
Right. That's like telling someone to just be confident. It doesn't work. Instead, we're offering a systematic, phased process. It's about rewiring those cognitive habits.
Rewiring the brain.
Essentially, yes. Cultivating a new inner English voice. And ultimately, we think this is the final liberation on your path to mastery.
Okay, so if that opening scenario, that lost moment in the meeting, resonated with you, let's really dig into this translation tax. Let's unpack why it costs you so dearly.
Yeah, because understanding the cost is essential motivation. To break a habit that's so deeply ingrained, you have to fully appreciate the real price you're paying.
And mental translation, even if you're fast at it, it imposes this heavy, multifaceted tax on how you communicate.
It really does. The most obvious one is the speed cost. We call it the hesitation gap.
The hesitation gap.
Okay.
Think about it. Communication, when it's flowing well, it's like a dynamic dance. Translation forces you to be perpetually like half beat behind.
How so?
Well, think of it this way. A native speaker or someone thinking directly in English, they go thought speak, quick, seamless.
Instant.
But a mental translator, their process is thought in native language, translate and Polish she-seek. There's that extra step. Okay. So even if someone's at C1 and feels pretty quick, that extra step still matters, especially in, say, that high-stakes New York meeting we imagine.
Absolutely. That extra cognitive step, however fast, creates a perceptible lag. It's that tiny pause before you answer a question, that moment of hesitation before you jump into a debate.
And in fast environments.
In those fast-paced environments, that hesitation gap, it can mean the difference between leading a conversation and just watching it go by. You lose spontaneity, you lose wit, incisiveness. That crucial edge just isn't there.
Wow. Okay, so it's not just sounding a bit slow, it's about losing your impact. That's huge.
It is.
And then there's another layer, which you mentioned, the authenticity cost. The unnatural flavor. What does that mean exactly? If my grammar and vocabulary are perfect, why would it still sound translated? Isn't perfect translation the goal?
That's a fantastic question, and this is where it gets really interesting. Even a perfect, grammatically flawless translation can sound, well, translated. Because you're not just translating words, you're often importing the grammar, the rhythm, the sentence structure, even the underlying logic of your native language. So the words are English, but the shape of the thought isn't quite native English.
Okay, that makes so much sense. It's like you're wearing someone else's linguistic clothes, even if they fit perfectly grammatically. Can you give us an example? This is subtle. I think a lot of people might miss it.
Sure. Let's take a Spanish speaker's thought. Es importante que terminemos el proyecto antes de viernes para que el cliente esté satisfecho.
Okay.
A grammatically perfect, but maybe slightly stilted translation might be. It is important that we finish the project before Friday so that the client is satisfied.
It sounds Correct, but a bit formal.
Exactly. It's correct, but it sounds formal, a bit stiff. Maybe not how you'd naturally say it in a work meeting. The direct English thought, the way a native speaker might naturally express it, is probably closer to, we really need to wrap this up by Friday to keep the client happy.
Yeah. Wrap this up. Keep the client happy. It feels more natural, more fluid.
Right. Thinking directly lets you access those natural cadences, those idiomatic ways of speaking. Your speech becomes more fluid and your personality shines through more easily.
So otherwise, we risk sounding like a badly dubbed movie from the 80s, even with perfect grammar.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of heartbreaking, actually.
You can feel that way?
Okay. And finally, the cognitive load cost. The brain burnout. I've definitely felt that after a long day of speaking English, even when I understood everything. Now it's making more sense why.
Right. Think of your brain's working memory like a computer's RAM.
Okay. Limited capacity.
Exactly. When you're in a conversation, it's already working incredibly hard. Listening, processing meaning, figuring out social cues, formulating your own ideas. Mental translation adds another massive resource-intensive program on top of all that.
So you're running two operating systems at once.
You basically are. And here's the kicker. This constant translation isn't just tiring you out. It actually hinders your brain from forming those direct English connections in the first place. It becomes this self-perpetuating loop you need to break.
So that incredible cognitive load explains why you might feel completely wiped out after a long meeting or a social event in English, even if, you understood everything perfectly.
Precisely. It's often not the English itself that's tiring you out. It's that relentless background process of translation. Breaking this habit won't just make you a better, more authentic speaker.
It'll give you more mental energy, more stamina.
Exactly. We often cling to translation because it feels safe, right? It's like a way to double check our work before we speak.
Yeah, a safety net.
But at the C1 level, that safety net truly has become a straitjacket. It's time to trust your English brain. Let it think for itself.
Right. Okay. So that leads us to the crucial question. How? How do you even begin to dismantle something so deeply ingrained? You can't just decide, okay, starting tomorrow, no more translating.
No, definitely not. It's a deep-seated cognitive habit. Breaking it needs a gradual, deliberate process. You're basically training your brain to follow new pathways.
Like building new muscles.
That's a good analogy. So we've structured this as a 4-stage model to guide you. The key, though, is to really master each stage before moving on. Only advance when the current stage starts to feel comfortable, even automatic.
Got it. So what's stage 1?
Stage 1 is what we call the monologue, cultivating your inner English voice.
Inner voice. Okay.
The goal here is simple. Get your brain used to forming simple, non-demanding thoughts directly in English. It's about building a foundational inner monologue in a really low-pressure setting, just for you.
Okay, so how do we do that? What are the techniques?
First, technique A, narrate your life.
Narrate your life, like a movie voiceover in my head.
Kind of. As you go about your day, simply describe your own actions to yourself silently in English. I'm getting out of bed now. I'm walking to the kitchen. Okay, opening the fridge.
I see some milk and eggs. Maybe I'll make an omelet.
Exactly like that. Keep it simple. Maybe focus on the present continuous tense. It's purely about building the habit of internal English thought.
I actually tried this, and I realized I was muttering it out loud for about 30 seconds.
Oh.
Had to quickly pretend I was just, giving myself a pep talk.
Haha. Yeah, keep it internal if you can. Then there's technique B, label your world, but without translating.
Labeling without translating? How does that work?
This is a very conscious effort. Look around you, your desk, outside the window. When you see a chair, your mind should think chair directly, not your native word, and then chair.
Severing that link.
Precisely. See the object, access the English word directly. Do this on your commute, in the office, waiting for coffee. Anytime you see something, practice that direct connection.
Okay, that makes sense. Sever the link. And technique C.
Technique C. Form micro-opinions.
Micro-opinions.
Yeah, just look at something and form a simple, immediate opinion about it in English, in your head. See someone's coat. That's a nice coat. Taste your coffee. That's a bit too sweet. Hear a song playing. I like this beat.
Tiny thoughts.
Tiny, simple, self-contained thoughts that require zero translation. They train your brain to have an immediate, simple English reaction to the world around you.
Okay, stage 1. Inner monologue, narrating, labeling, micro-opinions. Got it. What happens when that starts to feel comfortable?
Once you're comfortable with that basic inner monologue, the next step is to start using that internal English in more interactive ways. Which brings us to stage 2, the dialogue, mental rehearsal, and scripting.
Dialogue in my head.
Exactly. The goal now is to move from just narrating to actually constructing conversational exchanges mentally. You're building the muscle for interactive thought in English.
Okay, sounds useful. How?
Technique A here is replaying past conversations. Think of a conversation you had recently, yesterday maybe, with a colleague, a friend, anyone.
Okay.
Replay the whole exchange in your mind, but this time, formulate both what they said and what you said directly in English. And here's the key part. Mentally correct your own mistakes.
Like a mental correction session.
Yes. I should have said, could you pass me that? Instead of what I actually mumbled. That kind of thing. It's really powerful feedback for your brain.
I can see that. Learning from past interactions. What's next?
Technique B is pre-playing future conversations. If you know you have an important phone call coming up or a meeting tomorrow, spend maybe 10 minutes mentally rehearsing it. Imagine what the other person might say. Practice formulating your responses directly in English. Think about potential questions they might ask and how you'd answer them.
Oh, it's like practice for the real thing.
It is. But importantly, this isn't about memorizing a script to parrot later. That's not the point.
Right.
The point is training your brain to generate the language needed for that specific context under a bit of light self-imposed pressure.
Okay, practice, not memorization. Got it. And technique C for stage 2.
Technique C, this one can be quite fun. Play the hypothetical dialogue game. Get creative. Imagine you're being interviewed for a podcast, maybe even this deep dive. Or imagine you bump into your favorite celebrity on a street somewhere. Or maybe you have to explain your really complex job to a curious 10-year-old.
Okay.
What would you say? How would that conversation go? Just play it out entirely in your mind, all in English, no pressure. Just let your mind play with the language.
I like that. Making it a game. So stage 1 is internal monologue. Stage 2 is mental dialogue and rehearsal. What's stage 3?
As you build that dialogue muscle, you're ready for stage 3. The free flow, encouraging, unscripted English thought.
Free flow. Sounds more advanced.
It is. The goal here is to create the conditions where spontaneous, unstructured thoughts can arise naturally in English, especially in specific areas or domains where you really need that direct thinking.
Okay, how do we encourage that?
Technique A, the topic immersion technique. Choose a topic you're genuinely passionate about, or one that's really important for you. Your career, maybe a hobby like photography, a sport you follow closely.
Yeah.
Then, for a set period, say, your hour-long lunch break or your evening walk, make a conscious commitment to think only in English about that specific topic.
Only English, only that topic. What if my mind wanders?
It probably will. If it wanders off to another topic or back into your native language, just gently guide it back to your immersion topic in English. It's like creating and defending a little mental English-only island.
An English-only island, okay. Technique B.
Technique B is the problem-solving exercise. This is a really high-level cognitive task, and it forces your brain to use English as a genuine tool for thinking, not just for communication.
How does that work?
The next time you face a non-trivial problem could be a technical bug in some code, could be figuring out how to arrange furniture in a room, or even just deciding what gift to buy someone. Try to think through the entire problem and its potential solutions exclusively in English. Internally talking yourself through it. Okay, so the main issue is X. I could try solution A, but the downside is Y. Or maybe solution B, it's more complex, but might be more robust long-term. Let me weigh the pros and cons. All in English.
Wow, that sounds challenging, but really effective. Using English to actually solve things.
It really pushes your brain.
Yeah.
And technique C for stage 3, the unedited English journal.
Journaling. I thought that was about output.
It is an output exercise, but it's also a powerful thinking exercise, especially if you do it this way. The key is to write freely without judging yourself. Let your thoughts just spill onto the page or screen in English as they form.
Don't polish.
No polishing. This creates a direct, unfiltered channel between your consciousness and the English language.
Yeah.
Bypassing that translation filter.
Yeah.
Don't worry about perfect grammar or spelling in this exercise. Just let it flow, unedited.
Okay, unedited flow. Stages 1, 2, 3. Inner voice, mental dialogue, free flow. What's the final stage?
Finally, we reach stage 4. The takeover. This is when English starts to become a default mode.
The takeover. Sounds dramatic.
Maybe a little. But this isn't really a technique you do. It's more of an outcome, a signpost that you're getting there. It's the stage where English becomes so integrated into your thinking that your brain actually finds it more efficient, less work, to simply stay in English mode for extended periods rather than constantly switching back and forth.
So your brain just defaults to English because it's easier.
Exactly. What's truly remarkable about this stage is that it's not something you force. It's almost like a surrender. Your brain just realizes, hey, staying in English is actually less effort now than switching back. And that's the real liberation.
How do you know when you're entering this stage? Are there signs?
Yeah, there are definitely indicators. You might notice things like dreaming in English.
Wow.
Or maybe you forget a word in your native language for a moment, but you know it perfectly well in English. That's a classic sign.
Or watching an English movie.
Yes. And realizing halfway through that you haven't been consciously processing the language at all. You've just been absorbing the story directly. That's a big one.
So this stage, the takeover, it's the result of all the work in the first 3 stages.
It's the natural result of consistent, patient practice in stages 1, 2, and 3, combined with something else that's crucial. A massive and continuous diet of high-quality English input. You need the raw materials.
Right. Input is key. It's the moment that translation barrier really starts to crumble and your brain just defaults to English sometimes.
That's the goal.
Okay, these stages are really clear. But sometimes hearing real stories helps make it concrete.
Absolutely. To truly bring this to life, let's look at some real-world examples.
Great,
People
yeah.
who've navigated these stages and found that new linguistic freedom.
Great. Who's first? First, let's talk about Dr. Sofia Rossi, an art historian from Rome, Italy.
Okay, an art historian. What was her challenge? Her problem was fascinating. Her written English was impeccable, absolutely flawless. But her spoken English, though grammatically perfect, sounded like, well, like a translated academic paper.
Very formal and maybe a bit slow.
Exactly. She thought in these long, eloquent Italian sentences full of subordinate clauses, and then she would meticulously render them into English. So in the faster, more direct world of international academic conferences, she came across as ponderous, maybe overly formal, not quite herself.
Okay, I can picture that. How did she break through?
Her breakthrough came when she really committed to stage 1. She started narrating her daily walks through the historic streets of Rome to herself, silently, in simple English.
Like the technique we discussed.
Precisely. I'm crossing the Ponte Sisto. Below me, the Tiber is flowing slowly. The sun is hitting the buildings on the other side. She forced herself to use simple, direct English structures, just observing. Then she adopted stage 2. She started mentally rehearsing the Q&A sessions for her lectures. She practiced taking her complex Italian thoughts and rephrasing them into crisp, clear English points, anticipating the kinds of questions she'd get.
So stages 1 and 2 were key for her.
They were transformative. It didn't just change how she spoke. It gave her a new, more direct way of communicating that she found incredibly effective. Her real personality started to come through much more.
That's a great story. Who's next?
Next, let's look at Adola Adebayo, Ude, a financial trader in Lagos, Nigeria.
Okay, finance. High pressure.
Extremely. For aid, the translation tax wasn't just theoretical, it was a literal financial cost. In the lightning-fast world of high-frequency trading, even a tiny 2-second delay caused by mental translation could mean the difference between a good trade and a significant loss.
Wow. So he needed to think, react, and act in English, basically at the speed of the market, instantly.
Exactly. His breakthrough involved aggressively adopting stage 3, the free flow stage.
How did he do that?
He made a non-negotiable rule for himself. From the moment the markets opened until they closed, all his internal thoughts related to trading had to be in English. No exceptions.
That sounds intense.
It was. He analyzed charts in English. Okay, the RSI is showing a bearish divergence. He strategized in English. Right. If the price breaks this support level, my stop loss will trigger. His entire professional thinking process was remapped into English for those hours.
Was it hard at first?
He said it was brutally difficult for the first few weeks, but the payoff was immense. His reaction time plummeted, his cognitive load during trading hours decreased dramatically, and his performance soared.
So he essentially became a trader who thought in English.
He stopped being a Nigerian trader who spoke English and became a trader who thought purely in the global language of finance when it mattered most.
Incredible. Okay, one more story.
One more. Chloe Kim, a UX designer from Seoul, South Korea.
UX design. Creative field.
Yes, and that was part of her challenge. Chloe was incredibly creative, very visually minded, but she felt invisible in the fast-paced English language brainstorming sessions at her international tech company.
Why?
Her ideas were often visual, nonlinear, they'd flash into her mind. But by the time she'd captured that fleeting creative impulse and tried to translate it into a well-structured English sentence—
The moment was gone again. Her colleagues had moved on.
Exactly. The flow of ideas in those sessions was just too fast for the translation step.
So how did she tackle it?
Chloe's strategy focused heavily on stages 1 and 3. She started a private design journal, but with a twist.
Yeah.
It was a visual journal. She would sketch an idea quickly, and then use the stage 3 free flow method, unedited English, to just scribble annotations and thoughts around the sketch. Messy, quick, direct.
Linking visual and verbal in English.
Yes. And she also used the stage 1 narration technique while she was actually working on designs. Okay, let's try moving this button over here. No, the user flow feels a bit clunky now. What if I make the call to action more prominent?
Thinking aloud internally while designing?
Exactly. This built a really direct, powerful link between her creative visual brain and her English linguistic brain. Soon, she found she could do it in meetings too. She could spontaneously throw out half-formed ideas, quick thoughts, just like her native-speaking colleagues.
She learned to think creatively in English on the fly.
Precisely. She broke that barrier between idea and expression.
These stories really illustrate the stages. Okay, so we have the stages, we have the stories. Are there other things, like daily habits, that can help speed this up? A prose toolkit, maybe?
Absolutely. Beyond working through the stages, there are practical habits and exercises you can integrate into your daily life to really accelerate the shift. Think of these as powerful boosters for your journey.
Okay, let's hear them.
First, and this is crucial, the input overhaul.
More input. We mentioned this.
Yes, but it's worth emphasizing. You simply cannot expect to think deeply and naturally in a language that you are not constantly absorbing at a high level. Your brain needs a massive, rich supply of raw material.
So what kind of input are we talking about at the C1 level?
At this level, you need to challenge yourself. Go beyond the basics. Dive into dense, high-quality content. Things like literary fiction, long-form journalism from places like The New Yorker or The Atlantic, intellectual podcasts that really make you think, maybe online university lectures, complex TV dramas with sophisticated dialogue.
Really immerse yourself in complex English. Drown yourself in it, almost.
That's the idea. Give your brain the complex structures and vocabulary it needs to think complex thoughts.
Okay, input overhaul. What else?
Then there's the monolingual dictionary rule.
Ditch the bilingual dictionary.
For at least an hour each day, yes. Put your bilingual dictionary or translator app away. When you encounter a new word, make yourself look it up only in a good English-to-English learner's dictionary, like the Oxford Advanced Learners or Cambridge.
Why is that so important?
Because it forces your brain to stay within the English conceptual framework. You're defining new English words using other English words you likely already know or can figure out from context. You're not taking that easy escape hatch back to your native language.
It builds deeper connections within English itself.
Exactly. It strengthens the network.
Makes sense. Next tool.
Next, designate thinking islands.
Ah, like the topic immersion, but for time or place.
Yes. Create specific times or places in your day that are sacrosanct, that are your English-only thinking zones. This could be your 30-minute morning commute. It could be during your daily workout, or maybe the first 15 minutes you sit at your desk before you open any emails.
Commit to only thinking in English during that time.
Right. Defending these small islands of immersion, making them non-negotiable, really helps the habit take root and start to grow. Consistency is key here.
Okay, thinking islands. What else is in the toolkit?
Play word association games.
Word association. How does that help stop translation?
It's a fantastic way to build direct neural connections between English words, completely bypassing translation. Pick a simple noun, say, river.
Okay, river.
Now, in 60 seconds, either just mentally or maybe scribble it down, list as many English words as you can possibly associate with river.
Like water, flow, current, bank, bridge, boat, fish, stream, smooth, fast.
Perfect. The key is to let the English words trigger each other directly. Don't think of river, native word for bank, bank. Just go river, bank. You're building a web of thought purely within English.
Cool exercise. Simple but effective. Anything else?
One last one. Use a thesaurus as a primary tool.
A thesaurus? How?
When you're writing or even preparing to speak and you need a better, more precise word, resist the urge to think of the perfect word in your native language and then try to translate it.
What should you do instead?
Instead, start with a simple English word that's close to what you mean. Let's say you want a better word for walk. Go to an English thesaurus with walk and explore the alternatives it offers. Stroll, amble, trudge, hike, march, stride. This keeps your entire creative and refining process within the English language. You're expanding your active vocabulary directly in English.
Instead of translating nuance, you're finding nuance within English.
Exactly. It keeps you in the English zone.
Input overhaul, monolingual dictionary, thinking islands, word association, thesaurus. That's a powerful toolkit.
They all work together to support those 4 stages of rewiring.
This whole journey then to stop translating, it really feels like the final, maybe the most intimate frontier of learning English.
I think it is. It's a process that takes place entirely inside your own head, in the silent, invisible theater of your mind, the one place only you can access.
And it's challenging, isn't it? Because it asks you to let go of a habit translating that probably served you really well for years. It feels safe, reliable.
It does feel safe. That's why it's hard to let go. But what you gain in exchange for giving up that safety net is profound freedom.
What kind of freedom?
Well, the freedom of speed, first off. It allows you to participate fully in the fast flow of conversations, of ideas, without that hesitation.
Right, closing that gap.
Then there's the freedom of authenticity. Letting your true personality, your unique voice, shine through without the distorting filter of translation.
Being more you in English.
Exactly. And finally, there's the freedom of cognitive ease. Being able to engage with the world in English for longer periods with more mental energy and, honestly, more joy, because you're not constantly running that background translation program.
Speed, authenticity, and ease. That sounds worth the effort.
We certainly think so.
But it's important to remember, this isn't something you can just knock out in a weekend or even a month, right?
Absolutely not. It is a gradual rewiring. It's a patient cultivation of new mental pathways. You have to be kind to yourself, persistent.
So the advice is to start small.
Start small. Really small. Maybe just try narrating the simple act of making your coffee tomorrow morning. Entirely in English, just for yourself, inside your head.
Okay, opening the cupboard, getting the mug, now the coffee.
Just like that. In that tiny moment, you will have taken the first step on this truly liberating journey.
Your longest journey begins with a single thought.
Make it an English one.